Today I'll be talking about every single LEGO Star Wars set retiring in 2023. Let's talk about them. So yes, welcome back everyone to another LEGO Star Wars video, and as most of us should know, we just crossed into 2023 with a lot of new sets coming out this year. So of course, like every year, LEGO has to retire quite a few sets off their slate. So we got 20 Star Wars sets this year that are supposedly retiring. I understand it's pretty early in the year. Anything can really change. Take this list with kind of a grain of salt. This is from Brick Fanatics, where most of the time they're always right. So basically, I'll be going over all 20 of these sets, and there's actually always, two retirement dates throughout the year as well, July 31st and December 31st. Most of the time, Star Wars is just December 31st, but nonetheless, it's just friendly advice. Say if there's 2 or 3 sets on this 20 list right here that you really, really want before it retires, I would recommend just getting them before July at least. Just try it at least, before we go into fourth quarter and possibly run into stocking issues, and then it retires then. So, nonetheless, though, guys, here's the 20. As always, I'll be giving you guys some, slight investing advice, also some, collectible advice, and just kind of my overall opinion on the set. So, starting off here, we have a couple big surprises actually throughout this list, and number 1 is actually one of those. We have 40615, the Tusken Raider Brickhead. So I think, as most of us know, this set just came out literally 6 days ago. Nice little $10 brickhead exclusive to the LEGO store, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's just going to retire in a year, only have 1 year on the shelf, and pretty much call it like that. I would assume, look, investability wise, probably not going to do too crazy. It's just this, an unnamed Tusken Raider at the end of the day. Collectability wise, look, if you are a fan of brickheads, you probably already bought this set, and nonetheless, it's only $10. So, very easy, kind of just, run-of-the-mill purchase. You get what I'm saying? You see it at the LEGO store, add it to your total for $10, you won't even know you bought it, kind of thing. So, there's the first one. Moving on, we actually have a couple sad ones here to see go. We have 75288, the AT-AT from 2020, of course. I think these summer, sets of 2020, as much as 2020 was kind of a bad year for most of us, I think those sets are severely underrated looking back. I think, seeing, most of these, actually at this point, every single one officially being retired, it's kind of a sad sign. It just honestly is. Back when Grievous Starfighter, Anakin Interceptor got retired, those were great sets. But we have the AT-AT here. Of course, as always, they're probably going to come out with another one 2 or 3 years from now. I highly doubt that this one's going to go too crazy on investing sake. And I would assume, look, for having pretty much at that point 2.5 years on the shelf, or actually 3.5 years. Yeah, 2021, 2022, 2023. So 3.5 years on the shelf. If you want that set, you probably would have already got it by now. Next up, we have 75290, the Mos Eisley Cantina. Also came out October 1st, 2020. $400 now after that price markup. I believe it was $350 beforehand. Another one of those where, look, if you want it, you've either probably bought it already or saving up for it. So just know now, look, if you're almost there, maybe you got $320 out of $400 for it. Mow an extra lawn this coming spring, make that extra $40 and go get it pretty much ASAP. I think that'd be a nice little set for your May 4th purchase if you're kind of waiting on it, especially if we get a buildable Chewbacca this May 4th. But yeah, we have the Mos Eisley Cantina. Next up, we have the 75292, these Razor Crest. So, in my opinion, look, this is the better Razor Crest of the two. First off, it came out on time. Nice little play scale model. Very fair price at $140. And looking back, I'm glad I've got 2 of these, because either I'll sit on both of them forever or also build one. But nonetheless, this is a pretty sad one to see go. Again, like, as much as, the ship has blown up in universe, so I guess it's not really too sad. But, yeah, for the most part, look, you probably either got this set throughout those 2.5 years is already available, or now you have the UCS one and you're fine with that one and don't need a smaller one. So, next up, we actually have a double combo here, which is, kind of surprising to me. Look, I mean, if we're getting stuff like the AT-AT have 3.5 years on the shelf, I'm very surprised these aren't getting at least 3 years either. So we actually have the 75300, the Imperial TIE Fighter, $45 now after the price markup, and also the 75301 Luke Skywalker's X-Wing Fighter. Both came out, of course, January 1st, 2021. So I guess that is right. 3 years on the shelf, so not too bad. Those are staple sets where I genuinely feel like, look, they should almost just have them on the shelf until the next one is done, kind of thing. You get what I'm saying? So those are staple sets. I don't blame them for being out for 3 years. Little smaller than I would have hoped, for my personal liking. It's in scale with the new TIE Bomber and stuff, though. So I really do think, that TIE Fighter has some permanent value if, they keep on releasing all these new TIE variants in that same scale. And, say going into 2024, 2025, and, people kind of want a regular, TIE Fighter for their collection, and they need to go back and buy this one. So there's those 2 sets. Next up, we have a pretty sad one for me, at least. We have the 75309, the UCS Republic Gunship. $400 now, was $350. Came out August 1st, 2021, so we're looking at about a 2.5 year shelf life, which is not too bad, you know, for any UCS set. I'm honestly surprised they didn't retire it even sooner, so it has to be selling at least decently for them. And this is one, you know, a lot of controversy, you know, around it, but nonetheless, I think it was definitely a good staple piece to have. You know, I've got one built in front of me, I've got one sealed, and that's pretty much where I'm at with that set personally. Next up, we have 75312, the Boba Fett Starship, $50, August 1st, 2021. And this one, again, you know, it's the slave one. You know, they're probably going to come out with another one, you know, 3-4 years down the line. You know, I would severely hope, though, at least in between this one and the next one, there's going to be a Jango Fett slave one. So maybe this one actually might be a little bit longer till we get a Boba Fett version again. But this one, you know, like I said before, pretty small, not a fan favorite of mine. I personally won't be buying this, you know, to invest in or anything like that. I personally can't recommend it either for you. But if you like it, you know, so be it. But I think stuff like the 20th anniversary one is way better. Next up, we have one where this one is at this point just like a joke of a set. We have 75317, the Mandalorian and the Child Brickhead. $20, August 1st, 2020. Felt like it came out in 2019, honestly. That's what I thought for the longest time. And I'm almost positive it did. I don't know. For some reason, I keep on thinking it came out with that initial Rise of Skywalker Force Friday, but maybe it didn't. But yeah, if this came out August of 2020, it's had its time. You know, again, you guys, you know, this set has been $11, $12, you know, $14, pretty much its entire, you know, shelf life. You know, I sadly have a couple of these I'm sitting on. I got them for very cheap. I thought it'd be a good deal, but I think every investor's probably got about 50 of these. I think every collector that ever wanted one bought it for $10, and that's pretty much where that is. Next up, we have 75318, the Child, which this is another one from 2020 that's coming up on, you know, basically 3 years of being on the shelf, which is pretty crazy. You know, again, I understand, though, you know, everyone likes the Child. They're going to hold out, you know, get all the sales for Mando Season 3 and then pretty much retire it. So this one's pretty cool. I've actually personally got 2 of them up there. I got on half off discount, and that's pretty much why I bought them. Nothing interesting, you know, for me to build personally, but it is the Child, so depending on what they do with it, you know, long term, you know, in universe, will be probably a pretty good set. Next up, we have the 75320, the Snowtrooper Battle Pack, which, again, it's just surprising. It really is. You know, this came out January 1st, 2022, so we're going to have, you know, only a 2-year shelf life. And just kind of weird for a battle pack, especially with them only coming out supposedly one every year. You would assume, you know, hey, look, I mean, why not throw a Snowtrooper one on the shelf for a couple of years, especially being original trilogy, making Hoth mocks. But this one I think will be a pretty decent one, you know, long term. I mean, very armorable. You know, LEGO did a pretty good job nonetheless on that battle pack. Next up, we have a Hoth ATST 75322. Also January 1st, $50. Another one of those where, you know, I personally can't recommend it for really any aspect. The minifigures are decent. You know, if you grab it for, like, say, $30, you know, I think it's a fine deal. I mean, it's definitely a better investment than the ATST Raider, I can tell you that for a fact. But yeah, so there's that. Next up, we have 75324, Dark Trooper Attack. And this one, you know, got released, you know, March 1st, 2022. And it really just kind of lost steam, I feel. You know, once it got put up to $35, you know, once the Dark Troopers just kind of got overplayed, this set, I feel like, you know, will always have a little bit of, you know, sentimental value for some people probably. You know, there's a lot of people that probably bought, you know, 5, 10, 15 of this set. But I think as it sits, though, I've actually not even got one yet for myself because, again, I'm not a huge, like, I like the scene, I really do, but it's also, like, I don't know. You know, I'll probably pick up one before it retires, but personally, nothing I'm too crazy about. Next up, we have 753-260 Boba Fett's Throne Room. You know, normally $100, but if you guys paid $100 for it, pretty much at that point, you guys overpaid because this set, you know, at Costco for the past, literally since, I want to say, like, May of this year. Like, I mean, like, right after it came out. Like, you know, have, like, a 1.5 year shelf life on it. You know, came out for your Book of Boba Fett. They're making a season 2 of that, but it's not coming out in 2023. If anything, it's kind of funny since I think that's, you know, that show's rumored to be 2024. So I'm very surprised they're not going to push it up just a little bit, you know, to kind of get that extra boost of sales then. But maybe they know something we don't. Maybe Book of Boba Fett Season 2 ain't coming. But yeah, this set here, you know, look, everyone that wanted it got it for 80, 60, 40, 20 even at Costco. So personally, something I can't really, you know, recommend. You know, and if you want it, I mean, like I said, just don't pay $100 for it. I mean, quite frankly, I mean, you're kind of overpaying it. You could probably even find it on Facebook Marketplace now for like $75 because, you know, that person only paid $40, you know. So next up, we have a couple dioramas here, only 2 out of the 3. And actually kind of surprising it's only these two. I really wonder why that third one ain't going. But we have the 75329 Death Star Trench Run and the 75330 Dagobah Jedi Training. And you guys know my thoughts on those. You know, I genuinely do think long-term those things will be pretty good. I think there's always going to be, especially from the original trilogy, always going to be fans of those scenes. And definitely something I don't really see them necessarily remaking a one-to-one remake of for quite a long time. You would assume they're going to have a lot of other dioramas and a lot of other scenes in between. Next up, we have the 75332, the 4+ ATST. This thing, you know, came out August 1st, 2022. It should have retired August 1st, 2022. So there's my thoughts on that one. Next up, 75342 Republic Fighter Tank. Out of every single set on this list, probably the most sad for me. Although, again, I'm not really too crazy of a fan of the set. It's just kind of nice to have a Clone Wars set, you know, $40 like that on the shelf. So hopefully this year they replace it with a bunch of stuff. Maybe that's why. You know, maybe they don't want 9 sets of Clone Troopers on the shelf. That'd be nice. I'd take 8 still, though, Lego. You know, keep that in mind. But 75342, pretty cool. Decent set, but I think if you already, you know, want that set, you probably already got it, and probably bought some of the minifigures separately, which are actually retaining some pretty good value. I mean, like, literally, those minifigures in there are pretty much like 3/4 of the value, which is pretty crazy. Next up, we've got 2 more right here. We have the 75343 Dark Trooper helmet. This is another one where it came out March 1st, 2022, and should have been out of there by, you know, March 3rd. I mean, they should have seen, you know, 2 days into it, they sold 5 copies in the world, and they should have been like, yeah, we're pulling it. So there's my thoughts on that. I think it looks hideous. They did a bad job on it. Definitely the worst helmet out of all the LEGO Star Wars ones. And then last up here, we have another kind of surprise. We have 75344, the Boba Fett Starship Microfighter. You guys actually can't see it, but I've got it up there. And, you know, again, I'm not really too surprised. I mean, it is kind of a lackluster microfighter. I think the actual build's fine, but the Boba Fett, you know, inaccurate. And we've gotten it in 5 other sets already, and don't really know why they put it out there. You know, probably just to, you know, get a couple Slave 1 fans to buy it, you know, but only 1 year shelf life on that one also. But there's pretty much the entire list. So, I mean, look, I mean, I'll kind of preemptively say, you know, this is not as sad of a list, you know, after I just reread it and went over with you guys, not as sad of a list as I kind of, you know, initially thought. I mean, quite frankly, probably the couple saddest things here. I got to be honest, I mean, I'm not a big AT-AT fan, but it's sad to see that set go, you know, finally. You know, came out August 1st, 2020. Like, that's been a long time coming. So, AT-AT, Razor Crest is pretty sad. UCS Gunship, of course, is pretty sad. Snowtrooper Battle Pack. And then at that point, Republic Fighter Tank. Other than that, I mean, get all these things out of here. You know what I mean? Quite frankly, I'm not too sad about any of this, you know. And investing-wise, too, I mean, Mos Eisley Cantina and Republic Fighter Tank, maybe. I don't know. But, you know, definitely as 2023 ends more, going into the later months and, you know, stuff like that, closer to October, November, when stuff gets a little bit more solidified, what is actually retiring, I'll definitely be making some, of course, you know, investing videos, you know, invest in these sets, and kind of my true thoughts then about some of the sets that are officially retiring. So that's everything for this video, guys. I wanted to make this video now. You know, this list just came out yesterday, and to kind of let you guys know, you know, look, if there are a couple of these sets you want to pick up this year, start saving now and buy as soon as possible, kind of thing. So that's everything, guys. Leave your thoughts down below on this list. What sets are you surprised by? What sets do you still have to pick up off the list? And I'll see you guys on the next one. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for see you guys later. Bye, guys, and stay safe.